Boy, let me tell you, last week I skipped out on doing Webcam Weekly Wrap-Up episode 14, which is this one, because I was getting ready to do it and my new setup arrived. This chair here, I've got a table here. So it arrived in the morning and I was kind of like, all right, I want to get this set up done. I mean, you can see there's a window. That's where this ambiance comes in. But I wanted to get that done. And it ended up taking longer than I thought to put everything together. So I said, all right, I will skip this week for the show, come back next week with 2 weeks worth of foolishness. And that is what we've got. So this is a pretty good setup. I think it looks all right. Nice background. I can put stuff up here for you to enjoy. I've got some visual aids I'm going to grab over there that have to do with what's happened in the last couple weeks. Interestingly, as we speak, so I've got my phone here. It's got my notes on it, which you can't really see. But I'm waiting for UPS to deliver my new iPhone. I broke down and I got an iPhone 16. I've had this other phone probably going on 7 years now, but it works and it's fine. But it's getting close to being full as far as storage goes. So I'm kind of like, all right, let's get one, pay the whatever it is per month. It's no big deal. So next week I should have a new phone unless something happens to it. I'll tell you, one time I can't remember what iPhone it was. This was a lot of years ago, but I bought it and I had it for a day or two. And I went to watch a race with my then girlfriend, and she got done with the race. And I went running up when she crossed the finish line to congratulate her. My phone was in I had a zip up hoodie. It was in the pocket. And as I ran, it wasn't zipped up. So it flew out of my pocket and it landed screen down in the asphalt and broke the screen. It's like I'd had it for 2 days, ruined it. I will not be doing that with this phone. So let's start off with the big news. Well, besides this setup that I did, I broke down and I got a basketball. I haven't owned a basketball since high school. See? Oh, man. So I haven't played basketball, competitively since high school, and I'm long since high school. But what I did was I got a ball because it's a new way to do cardio. I can't run like I used to. That's a whole different story. My body is broken down from years of doing that. So I said it'd be fun to play basketball again. So I got this one. The weather has been crap as far as temperatures go, but I really, really wanted to play. So I went down right down the street. There's Flax Pond. It's a local recreation area. It's got a full basketball court. It was 28 degrees. And I said, I'm going anyway. So I'm bundled up like I'm going to hike the Antarctic. And I went and played. It was all right. I'm nowhere near the shooter I was. I think I got to knock off the rust. But I shot a whole bunch of videos of me shooting. I was trying to get a video of me hitting a shot, and it was just like 4 or 5 straight videos of just terrible. And I deleted most of them except for one, and I said I'll save it and I will show people. So I did. That's not that great. But yeah, basketball. Maybe I'll go shoot again tomorrow. Oh, it's bouncing. It hit the wall. But yeah, played basketball. Like I said about my iPhone, I totally went off track. I'm waiting as we speak for UPS to deliver it. So I'm wondering if at some point you'll hear a knock at the door and I'll go and get it. Probably not. They say it'll be delivered today. Yeah, right. It'll be delivered the minute after I leave in my car. That's how it usually goes. So this happened today, and I had to share it because it's in my blog, Initial Impressions 2.0. But this 3 things on one trip. And I said, boy, I'm really glad I'm recording this video today. So I was driving to the gym, forced myself to go because, man, the old man needs to get his exercise. And I'm driving and there's it looked like a flower pot, a white flower pot in the road, plastic, because people like to litter because they suck. I'm driving. I said, oh, it's probably not that big. I can probably drive right over it and be fine. And I drive and I can hear it immediately get caught and it's just scraping on the road. And I'm like, oh man. So I'm driving intentionally through bumps. We didn't have a bunch of potholes, but there was some construction. So I'm just trashing my suspension, trying to dislodge this flower pot or bucket or whatever the hell it is. Eventually I did. I can see it take off behind me in the mirror. So I do my thing at the gym. Yay, that's done. And right down to the other end of the parking lot is a supermarket. I walk into the supermarket to get a few things. And I am shocked by a pair of the funniest fake eyebrows I've ever seen in my life. I cannot do justice to how funny this was. This woman comes around the corner with her shopping cart. It's like I can picture it in my head. I'm gonna try to put up something that will justify it, but she ended up, fake eyebrows. Here's your eyebrows. She's got it looks like fake tan, so she's kind of like reddish hue, but her eyebrows are like two straight lines up here. Like you couldn't even put them there above your eyes. It's like this. It's like someone took Ooh, props. It's like someone took a Sharpie and just drew two straight lines across their forehead. Like, really? There was nobody in her life that could help her put eyebrows on or stop her from doing that. I gasped and I like ran away so I could go laugh because it was so bad. So then I'm done leaving the supermarket and walking towards me is this guy that looks like he swallowed a keg. He's all overdressed, big, gigantic gut. And he makes it a point to say to me, "Oh, Jesus Christ, I should have worn shorts." I'm like, there's a gym right down there. You don't understand that maybe some people are walking from the gym to the supermarket in their workout clothes. But he made it a point to mention about being surprised at me wearing shorts. And I didn't care enough. And he definitely looked like he wasn't smart enough for me to waste the time explaining I came from the gym because I figure he doesn't know what a gym is. He looks like the kind of guy that sees himself in the mirror like he's got a six pack, like Homer Simpson picturing himself in the mirror. So I was just like, whatever. That was all within an hour. Those three things. That's why I do these video podcasts because of the foolishness I deal with. Speaking of foolishness, so I had a podcast listener, audio podcast listener. This was probably a month ago, reached out to me and recommended a topic. Oh, would you do a topic on this? And I said, okay, sounds good. I did the segment a couple weeks ago. This past week, this same person reached out and said, oh, they recommended another topic. And the segment that I did for them, the first one, didn't really resonate well with my listeners. So I politely declined to do. I'm like, sorry, I'm not going to do a full length movie review for something you want. I'm not your personal podcast creator. But I then also mentioned, you had recommended to me a few weeks ago to do this specific segment. And he totally forgot. He hadn't listened to it. He actually said, oh, how did that go? And I'm like, you reached out to me and asked me to do a segment. I agreed and did it, and you didn't listen? Like, thanks. Like, what did you just do it to see if I would do it? Like some kind of power play? So we'll see. We'll see if they reach out again. Like they forget that they keep asking me to do segments for them. I'm just like, forget it. So I'm skipping around here. So a funny thing, my mother gave me her old Fitbit. She said so it's an old Fitbit. The band has an explanation. That's the whole point of all of this. So I've been looking to get a Fitbit for a while. I figured, wow, a free one, why not? One thing I noticed is it's giving me trouble as far as steps go. I think every time my arm moves, it counts it as a step. So if I was wearing it and just doing this, it would say I've been taking thousands of steps. So I was driving to work. I put on the Fitbit and I get to work in the parking lot and I'm reaching on my wrist. I'm like, I don't feel it. Where is it? It's because the band had broken already and the Fitbit had slid down in my jacket to my elbows. It's like already ruined. So that's where this band comes from. I guess my mother had an extra band. It's very hippie 60s ish. I'm not going to keep it, but it was better than nothing. But I found it funny that it was not long after I got it that it was already broken with this band trashed. But the Fitbit's still good though. I like having the ability to track my fitness and such. A little bit of success coming up as it's amazing. I just booked my last payment for a credit card that I maxed out years ago. High interest one because I don't think, I guess. The story behind it is going back now like 7 years. I had been in need of money. I wasn't getting enough hours at my job, and my boss at the job was kind of a D bag. So it was kind of like I was kind of in a tough spot. So I opened up this credit card that I had actually paid down years earlier. And I said, well, I've got it. Let's open it up. I was using it for bills. I wasn't using it to buy trips to, Tahiti and stuff. But finally, after all these years, I'm finally going to pay it off. The first thing I wanted to do when it's paid off is close the account, cut the credit card up, and just, it's like success. Then I'm reading that your credit score can go down if you close your account. Like, how does that make sense? I literally have proven my credit should be good because I had all this debt and I've paid it all off. And just by closing my account, it's going to negatively affect my credit score. It's like, fine, I'll keep the account open and I'll just have the card shredded in a bag, a Ziploc bag somewhere. But it's like one hand, I'm so excited that I'm going to free up this money, but it's also like, I just want that card done with. Because the problem was when I maxed it out in the first place, I had already paid it off once and didn't close it. So it's like, I'm scared it might happen again, that I'll just suddenly lose control and max out my card. So a fun little full circle moment occurred this week. So this past week, I closed down theladyofthedunes.com, the website I had built for my book, Searching for the Lady of the Dunes, for Frank Durant's documentary on the Lady of the Dunes. I felt it was kind of fitting to start off 2025, clean slate, opening up a lot of room in my schedule to let things in. You never know what might be on the horizon, besides the UPS guy hopefully showing up. It's 3 o'clock as I'm recording this. They better. I want my phone. Anyway, so I closed the site down mainly because I'm looking to open up a website for my podcast, In My Footsteps podcast, kind of a catch all. And I can't afford to run two different websites that both have shopping capabilities. It's quite a bit of money. So the day after I closed down theladyofthedunes.com, I had a card show up in the mail. It was a Christmas card, a little bit late, but it was from Ruth Marie Terry, the Lady of the Dunes' son, his family. They reached out to me to thank me for my work, for everything that happened with the book. I am one that I say all I did was chronicle what Frank did. It's, that may be selling myself a little bit short, but the book doesn't happen if Frank doesn't reach out to me. For those that don't know, The Lady of the Dunes was Cape Cod's most infamous murder mystery. For almost 50 years, it was unsolved. And there were times I figured it was never going to be solved. So the fact that me, who grew up on Cape Cod, even has a little bit to do with this case and its resolution, it's really unbelievable. So the fact that her family is sent me a Christmas card. It had a nice note in it, and it had a picture of her, a bench in her honor at the cemetery in her hometown. It's just wild that it was the day after I kind of put an end to that chapter, and there's like a fitting period at the end of the sentence. Let's finish this off with something that's a little more lighthearted. So, some of you might know, most of you probably don't. On patreon.com, I do bonus podcast episodes every month, and they are me talking about two specific blog posts from the original Initial Impressions blog. Initial Impressions was meant to be a sister blog to my travel blog, where it would be behind the scenes instead of it being the actual travel blog of where I went, what I saw, how to get there. It would be behind the scenes. And for the most part, Initial Impressions ended up being a slice of life from my life in 2010, 2011. So, what I do on the bonus podcast is I talk about these blog posts. I try to decipher them, what I was talking about. And one of my favorite recurring segments that I shake my head at is something I call Cryptic Posts, which a lot of you probably know. It's, you put something up online where you don't say what you want to say. Oh, prayers for me. And you just leave it at that. So people have to engage with you. It's just someone that needs attention. And I'm saying that as someone that these are what I was doing. I was doing Cryptic Posts back then where it would be me pining away for different girls. Oh, I wonder if so and so knows how special they are. I wouldn't name names, but like I thought they might read the blog and say, "Oh, I knew he liked me." So this week for this video podcast, it's kind of a return of Cryptic Posts, sort of, because this past week I've had dreams, different nights of four different people that I was either dated or wanted to date, different nights. And it's one of those things where you wonder why they are in your dream. Is it the obvious you miss them? You want to get back together with them? I don't know. I have a lot of lucid dreams. I've written short stories based on dreams that I've had, which is a fun talent, I guess. I don't know if remembering your dreams is a talent, but it's kind of a fun thing to be able to do, to wake up from a dream, write down some of it, and then turn that into a short story. I've written, so these ones that are on the screen, the quiet one, the cabin, Seventh Island Light, they were based on dreams I had. And so when I have dreams based on people that I knew, it's always a wonder of why they are there. I'm sure you out there, if you remember your dreams, you must have dreams with people from your past. Then you kind of wonder, like, what are they there for? The funny thing is, I'm sure there won't be any reasoning why. I'm not going to get one of those four reaching out and being like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." But I am almost positive that me talking about it here will mean that one of them will be in my dream tonight. And it'll be another Cryptic Post next week. So there you go. We've been recording for, says on the screen, about 21 minutes. I never keep these under 20. I have not heard the UPS truck, so I'm still stuck with this phone for another few minutes. But how's this setup look? I adjust a little bit from how it looks in the raw footage. Obviously, I post a lot of pictures that'll be up above my head there, just to make it where it's not just me. We're getting to a point where as the sun's going, you can see the shadow creeping. Like if I get over here, you can see it's blinded. So I got to make sure that when I record these, it's at a different time of day. Although that's not too bad. If you enjoy my content, I mentioned Patreon before, $5 a month, bonus podcast. You can hear more cryptic posts from me from 15 years ago, foolishness that I thought about. You can always do buy me a coffee. That's one-time things. It's as little as $1. I don't know if $1 can get you a coffee. I mean, they call it buy me a coffee, but I think you can change what it is. If you don't like coffee, it's buy me something else, although the website stays the same. If you're interested in any of my 9 books, visit my website, christophersutherland.com. And I'm all over social media. Subscribe on YouTube. That's where this is. If you're seeing it, go subscribe over there and, share the content if you enjoy it. I do audio podcasts. I'm up to almost 180 episodes of that and tons of blogs besides Initial Impressions 2.0. I keep adding things in like Chris Unfiltered, which it's ChatGPT taking some of those old Initial Impressions 2.0 blogs and turning them into a TV show. It's with me as the star. They're so random and funny that I started sharing those on my blog. I started sharing the Vegas journals, which is stuff I wrote in 2000, 2001 when I lived in Vegas. That's going to be migrating over to Patreon on the free tier. And I'll do my best to be back next week with more Webcam Weekly Wrap-Up. This is episode 14. Last week I was putting together my new set and breaking my Fitbit. So next week everything should be good to go. So until then, have a great week. These go up on Mondays. I record them on Fridays because they take about 2 days to edit. You would be surprised. And, check out all my other content. Thank you all for tuning in. I am Christopher Sutherland. I will see you next week on this show, and I'll see you all over the rest of my content the rest of the week.